watching Halenville Live with Fruitcake Tony. Woo!
Right. Hey, man, it's Wednesday again. What do you think?
Oh, I forgot. I did it backwards. This is the way it's supposed to look.
There you go. Right on.
Yeah, man.
It's Wednesday. Welcome. This
Yeah, it
is
is.
Halenville Live. Fruitcake Tony, Keith Campbell along a couple minutes past 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. May the 10th. Slap dab in the middle of springtime. Yes, sir. Keith, how you doing, bro?
Ooh, I am. To quote the magician from Frosty, busy, busy, busy. I am about to close on my condo, so I got to be out of here in 2 days.
Yeah.
On
the
so
road.
I'm packing up mofo tonight. Past few nights actually, but I'm getting all prepped out, man. And this is going to be fun. This road trip, the Friends and Family Tour, is coming up.
Keith, somehow I imagine you loading up the truck like the Beverly Hillbillies and doing the cross country thing.
No. I'm like a Tetris man.
And the dog.
I'm a Tetris man. I'm just bringing when I'm on the road, I'm Mad Max. I'm the road warrior. I have my essentials, in the back there. I don't need much. A couple of changes of clothes, cold drinks, and killer tunes, and I'm fine, man.
There you go. Right on, Keith. Well, I hope things in the next few days, I know they're going to be moving fast with this big move, man, but yeah. We
I can't wait for it though, man.
Glad to hear it, bro.
Cannot wait for it. This is going to be so much fun. I always love a good road trip across the country. I've done it multiple times, so this is going to be fun.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, dear Lord. So, any of you guys in the chat, be careful. I may show up.
I know. All right.
Oh,
so,
real quick, can I say something before
sure.
Before we go forward? Got to give a shout out to Quentin. Okay, sorry about your loss. He lost his bird Emmett yesterday, so he's got his 2 parakeets. He lost one of them.
Sorry.
So
Q.
Yep. Sorry, Cindy. So get yourself an Emmett 2.0. Yeah. Boop.
Keith, we are talking tonight, sir, about a very great subject, my friend. We are talking about the album OhYouAteOne2. What do you think about that, man?
This is what I think about it. It was freaking killer. It was such an underrated album. But it's a very divisive album too. And we'll get into that also.
Yeah.
But
a lot of aspects about OhYouAteOne2.
Yeah.
All good. All good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
This is going to be a great, great talk. I can't wait for it. And we got the perfect guest for this too.
We do. We got a very special guest. on board tonight to help us talk about OU812. Before we bring in our guest, let's see who's with us,
Yeah.
Keith.
Open
I've
up the
not
gates.
opened up the chat box. I need a sound effect that opens it.
Yeah, like a roll-up door, like a
Yeah,
garage door roll-up,
right.
like they do when
All right.
the concerts start.
All right. So there it is. Patty Deal right there. Hey, Patty. Good to see
Hi,
you,
Patty.
ma'am. Andy Carson is right there
What's going on,
behind
brother?
her. Andy,
Yeah.
good to see you, man. R2,
Yeah, man.
R3, Lock and Nut. Right
Oh,
on. That's
yeah.
our Van Halen, bro. Hip Metal Works. Good to see you, dude.
What's going on, Hip?
Dan
Yeah.
of New Jersey.
Yeah. Dan.
Right on, Dan.
All
Always
right.
great to see
Great
you,
to see you,
man.
man.
All right, I'm going to scroll up here. Let's see. Monique is here. Good to
Hey,
see
Monique.
Monique. Hello, ma'am. Right on. Let's see. OU812 is in the house.
Really?
He
Wow.
is.
Go figure.
He is in the house.
How you doing, brother?
I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
scroll
ain't one
back
too.
down. If you're just hopping in, say hello in the chat. It's nice to see you. It's Wednesday night. We're talking OU812 tonight. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
All right. Okay. All right. Nice to see you guys. Hope your week's going swell so far. Um, all right. Let's change how things look a little bit. Let's clean house before we bring in our guests. Let's tidy up a bit, shall we, Keith?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's
We don't fling
change.
monkey poo here. We got to keep it clean.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's change this to how about
There you
that for
go.
a background?
That works for me.
Yeah, you like that?
Hell yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was such a badass cover on this album, on that sleeve.
Yeah.
There it is. Now you got it double. The double OU812 twins.
Well, I tell you what, Keith, if you'll hold that down a second,
Yeah, get
I'll
us.
tell you
Okay.
what's missing here is that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
I think there's room
We
in
got to talk
here
about
now.
that too. The album art.
Yeah.
Which was badass.
We're going to show you a bunch of cool OU812 stuff. I pulled out all the cool OU812 Van Halen memorabilia, signed OU812 stuff. Yeah, so we'll look at all that stuff too later. But let's bring in our special guest.
Yeah.
Smart
Smart move, Monique.
Let me
this
see
is
if
more
I
worthy.
got this.
Trump's always going to say the same thing.
All right. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So kids, our special guest tonight is a YouTuber, and him and our Van Halen brother, R2, R3 Lock and Nut, and Trev Symmetry. They've been doing live streams, and they talk a lot of Van Halen. They play a lot of live stuff on the shows. They play a lot of Van Halen. And there's a lot of great things coming out of that YouTube channel, OU812. So yeah, we're finally get to meet OU812, and so let's bring him in, Keith. Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself. Welcome, please. OhYouAteOne2. There it is. Hey, dude. Welcome, man.
He's muted.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go.
Said I got to show off the picks first thing, right?
Absolutely.
That's
There you go, brother. Love the camera angle too, man. That's
yeah,
cool.
man. Well, thanks for
Nice.
having me on. I appreciate it. Appreciate that introduction.
Yeah, dude. Welcome, man. We dig your stuff, and yeah, so it's nice to have you on. We were wanting to do a show where we talked about OhYouAteOne2, the album. You know, we wanted to get to know you too, so we figured we would do
Worked out.
both.
Well,
Absolutely.
tell everybody in the chat here, Tony approached me and he says, hey, we want to do a show all about OhYouAteOne2. And I'm like, man, right on, a show all about me.
That's right. You
and
got
then
it.
I found out it was about the album. So I was like, okay. Yeah, we'll do it. So,
yeah.
Seriously, though, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
No better person to have for it. When he brought up the idea to me, I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, who else would you want to have on here for this album?
Yeah.
Well,
No, I
when
appreciate it.
when we're finished tonight, you all will see that OhYouAteOne2 and OhYouAteOne2, the album, they are really just one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like Eddie naming everything 5150.
Right. 5150. There we
right.
go.
All
The song,
those.
the album, the guitar, the amp.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan, we enjoy you and your live streams and your videos too. You're putting out a lot of music where you're playing a lot of shorts and I've heard this from a few people. Everybody is digging the tone that you're achieving.
I appreciate it. That was kind of the main thing that really, wanted me to start doing the show is that, I've been on YouTube for a long time as far as, somebody just watching. And, I would watch different videos and everybody, would sound really good. And I'm like, I think I can nail it. And it was something that I wanted for my own enjoyment too. So when I got it, I was like, I got to share this, let me just do a YouTube thing. I'll go on, see if anybody watches. If they do, great. If not, I'm having fun, but it's nice to hear that people are digging it and really enjoying it.
Yeah, cool. Hello, Dwight Bailey. Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah,
everybody,
happy birthday,
it's
Dwight.
Dwight's birthday.
Yes, I forgot to remind you of that. Yes, happy birthday, Dwight.
You didn't have to remind me.
Yeah,
Dwight,
I saw that.
happy
I saw that
birthday,
when I
my
first
friend.
woke up, man. I was like, holy shit, I got to tell Tony. But yeah, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, Keith. Yeah, dude. So let me ask you this, Ryan. When did you first discover Van Halen? How'd that happen?
Well,
and how old were you?
Like a lot of people, I had older siblings with me, specifically an older brother. And when I was probably 12 or 13, I heard 1984. And it just, the sound of it, just everything about it, the guitar playing, the phrasing. And for me, that's what caught my attention was the guitar. The songs, the melodies, I can remember as a kid watching the video for Hot for Teacher, and when he's walking down those tables and he's playing that solo, it just moved me in a certain way. It made me feel good, and I really, really just enjoyed the music. So from that point, I kind of started getting the backlog of stuff and, started with Van Halen, listened to that. And then obviously hearing, it's cliche to say it, but everybody, when you hear Eruption for the first time and you're just blown away by what he's doing, and you're wondering how in the hell did he do that? I want to do that. And then listening to, Van Halen 2 and Women and Children First, Diver Down, just all throughout, I was just so impressed with the guitar playing. And, and then these are my coming of age years, listening to this. OhYouAteOne2 was actually the first CD that I ever bought. Probably the first cassette that I put into my 1969 Mustang Fastback that I had. And,
Right on.
Sweet.
I got, those.
What color?
It was blue.
And what'd you have in there? 351?
It had a 351 Windsor in it.
Windsor,
And
nice.
my brother had a 67 GTA Fastback. And he had a little fender bender. So the engine that was in that was built. So I pulled that out and I put it in my car. That was a badass car.
Nice.
But those kicker speaker boxes that the trucks used to put behind their seats. I would fold that rear seat down, and I had two of them back there, and I would just crank the Van Halen, as I'm driving.
Wow. I had one in my Jeep.
Yeah. So for me, it was just, always all about the guitar. I just loved it. And, and that's what made me want to play. I wanted to sound like him. And over the years, I've kind of nailed the sound, but when I have been in a band before or I've played stuff, it's like they say that the tone is kind of in the fingers, and I sound like me with that tone. But when I play some of the Van Halen licks, it kind of nails it as far as I think, and I guess other people are enjoying it and thinking it too. So
what you do is phenomenal, and don't undersell yourself, because you nail the tone and the sound.
Appreciate it.
Just to give everybody a heads up, tune into him on Trans Trem Thursdays, okay? Because you'll listen to him do that Trans Trem, and every song he freaking nails. Every one.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
So you were inspired by 1984.
1984 was what really got me into it.
How long had you played at that time?
At that time, I hadn't played.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
That was the spark. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
right on.
My oldest brother played guitar, and I always thought that was the coolest thing. You plug it into an amp, you strum it, and the sound comes out. And I just thought that was just awesome. So after hearing, Van Halen and really appreciating that guitar, I knew that I wanted to pick up a guitar, especially after hearing Eruption. That's what I wanted to do. And that was the first song that I tried to learn. When I was about 16 is when I picked up a guitar and started trying to learn, and still trying to learn to this day.
Hello, Guitar Man 45. Good to see you.
What's going on, Bo? Good to see you.
John DeShane. Good to see John.
What's up, John?
What's going on, John?
Right on. Yeah. That's cool. So obviously, from 1984, you were a Van Halen nut like the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I enjoyed all kinds of different music, and Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Got into Alice in Chains when I saw them open for Van Halen. But it's always been Van Halen has just kind of been my favorite, up to this day. When I was a kid and first hearing it, I would mowing the grass. I'd have my Walkman on. I'd be rocking 5150. When I first started doing my first job, first real job, it was manual labor up in attics, and I would have the Walkman on, and I'd be blasting Van Halen, getting through the day, listening to it all the time. I would go to sleep listening to Van Halen. So, and it was just like I said, it's something about that guitar, the melodies that he did, just the phrasings that he had. It just really, really, really always appreciated it, and it just really, really inspired me since I was a kid.
Yeah. Did you like all the eras? Because some people they prefer one era over the other, and they have opinions about other eras and things. But
Mm-hmm.
did you like all the eras of
I,
Van Halen?
I liked all the music. I liked all the music. It really, it was disappointing when, you listen to one thing and then it changes to another, but you realize that the core of that band, Eddie, was still there. So, I like Dave. I like all the Dave stuff. I like all the Sammy stuff. I grew up more with the Sammy stuff, because that's more of, what everything was coming out as I was, in a younger age. But appreciated all of it, so, even the Sharon stuff, there was some really good, tasty licks on a lot of that stuff, like Fire in the Hole. That's one of my favorite. Of course, it's played with a trans trim, but, the music for me is what always drove it. So whoever they ever had as a singer, I really wouldn't have cared. I would have listened to it. I would have bought the music. It was all about the music and the guitar for me. So
Bingo. I cannot agree with you anymore. I love. I'm a big Dave fan, huge Dave fan.
mm-hmm.
There was a totally different aspect that happened with Sammy. Some people didn't appreciate it that they went pop, right? But there were some really ass kicking songs in there, even just like the hard guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And this album shows some of it. I want to ask you one question though, or actually two questions. What was your venue of choice that you always would go to, and what is your favorite track off this album?
My favorite venue was wherever I was living and could go see them, but growing up, I grew up in I was born in Biloxi, grew up in Gulfport down on the coast of Mississippi. And that Coliseum that was there, that seems like that was the best sounding place that I ever saw them. Of course, Lakewood Amphitheater, or whatever it's called now, I've seen them several times there with Sammy. And
Nice.
I was always one that it was general admission back when I first started going to the shows. So if you got there early enough, you could squeeze on in up to the front of the stage. And that's what I always did, stage right. Because I wanted to watch and see what he was doing. And when they started being, assigned seating, I would always be early. I would be on the computer waiting for them to go on sale, or on the phone, and I would try to get the best seats that I could up front and stage right. So, yeah, just trying to always, I didn't really care, where I was, as long as I could see, because I wanted to see what he was doing. I wanted to see his fingers. So just wherever I could see him. Yeah.
Yeah. Just watching his fingers and just seeing how he runs around at ease while he's still playing it was always so mind-boggling. Because, the performance he put on back in those days, up to the 95 tour. Yeah. He was a maniac on the stage.
Well,
he was a madman. People don't normally do that for rock and roll. He took it to the next level.
Yep. One of the things that I really, really loved about, watching Eddie was, and like I mentioned earlier, just listening to the music and the way that it moved me in a certain way, and the joy that I got from that music. I could tell that he had that joy playing it. So that increased that joy that I had for that music even more. Seeing the smile on his face.
And that's well said, though, because you don't find that in every musician that you go see.
He was the one who made it popular.
Yeah.
To have a big smile on your face when playing hard rock.
Yeah. I tell you what, when I watch, the Live Without a Net DVD, which I still have right here, well, it was VHS back then. I wore that thing out, but I think I still have that as well. That was it. I knew that I had to get a guitar, and I had to make that sound. So Live Without a Net was it for me. It was like, okay, I've got to learn to play this stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. That solo was iconic, enough to make everybody just turn around like, holy crap.
Well,
They still have reaction videos for that on YouTube.
You are probably right. See, Live Without a Net came. I loved Live Without a Net, but there was other earlier live stuff that But yeah, had I been younger, not an old fart,
I'm the old one here. Go figure.
Yeah.
I mean, my
But
first show was
no.
81, so everything after that, I was just there, no matter what.
But so by the time 1987 rolled around and you started to see this new album from Van Halen, yeah. But we loved it. I bought it first on a cassette. I think the first 2 copies were cassette. I ended up having it on vinyl. I don't have the vinyl anymore. Had a couple of 1 or 2 CDs that I can recall. But yeah, when that record came out, it was boom. It came out in May in the springtime, and I was 21. And yeah, well, where is that? There it is. So there's your track listing.
And that's on the center of one side of the album.
So Mine on Mine, When It's Love, AFU, Cabo Wabo, Source of Infection, Feels So Good, Finish What You Started, Black and Blue, Sucker in a 3-piece, and Apolitical Blue shows up on the CD. This is just an image. It looks like a CD.
It was also the B-side for Black and Blue on a 45. That was the first time I heard that. I was like, whoa, Little Feat.
I should have made that a trivia question, Keith.
Ooh, that would have been real good.
No, not the fact of that, but the fact that you mentioned that.
The 45 was the first time.
That it was on the
that's
B-side.
what I got when it first came out. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my first introduction.
Because I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to mention that. And also, it was the B-side on. Yeah. That's Dick Clark, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first introduction to this album. Just getting that 45. Because I knew when it was coming out, so I just jumped on it.
Oh, you bought the 45.
I got that. The album didn't come out until a month later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they were already out on tour when the album broke. And I think it was like maybe a week old when I saw them at Giant Stadium.
So after you guys, listen to 5150 and then OhYouAteOne2 comes out, first track you hear, Mine on Mine, what are your thoughts? Do you remember?
Yes. We were hungry for more. And all these years later, we can say, well, it should have been this or it should have been like this. But at the time, in real time, Keith, we were hungry for more Van Halen. We were.
Right. Yeah. And the song choices that they put on there were just off the rails good. I don't think there was one bad song in the batch. There's some questionable lyric choices, but that opener, I loved it. It's probably my second favorite song on the album.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to when I first listened to it. Obviously, Mine on Mine was first.
OU812, it is what it is. It had the singles that it had on it,
Mm-hmm.
and those songs are anthems now because but it, I've always thought, and Keith and me talked about this, is if AFU is the first song on the record, it goes right after it.
Mm-hmm.
Need to have a song like that.
Yeah.
That's the first song. It kind of complements Mine on Mine, which is a number 2 song all day for any band, a song that sounds
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay. And then that complements When It's Love.
That would be the perfect sequence right there. I
Right.
agree with
So,
you.
and then
Absolutely.
because good and well, when you bought OU812, yeah, you like When It's Love, but you went right after Black and Blue, Sucker and a 3-piece, Source of Infection,
Mm-hmm.
AFU. That's what you went after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite track, Black and Blue.
Yeah. There was, I thought it was a really interesting choice on, and we'll get into it later with the Monsters of Rock show and the 88 tour. Eddie would do his solo, and then right after he's done with that, at the Giant Stadium show I saw, he didn't even take a bow. He went right from finishing Eruption to going directly into Black and Blue.
Mm-hmm.
It was just such a wild choice and thought of it, and I gotta applaud him for it though, because he did it beautifully. It doesn't sound like it would match up, because of the way Eddie ends Eruption, and
Mm-hmm.
then he goes into do 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 do.
Ryan,
but he did it well.
Ryan, did you see them on the either the Monsters run or the Arena OU812 run?
No, I was unable to. The first that I saw them was for the FUCK album.
That's a
Okay.
killer opener, man. Just to see them, and you saw them at Biloxi
Mm-hmm.
at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum. Yeah.
91 was my first Van Halen concert.
Yeah. So you saw Alice in Chains with them too, and that is such a great opening band combination.
Yeah.
Holy
Nice.
crap, I saw them at the Garden. That's easily one of my top 2.
Yep. Yeah. Like I've always said, to this day, that's the absolute hands down best concert ever seen, sound wise and music wise.
Mm-hmm.
To have Alice in Chains open up for Van Halen, that's when I became a Alice in Chains fan as well. Seeing them open up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they got notorious with MTV, with Man in the Box,
Mm-hmm.
and Eddie picked up on that real quick, and he and Jerry got real tight during that tour.
Yeah. A minute or so ago, you were talking about lyrics, and that's kind of what my question was. What did you first notice? That's what I first noticed with Mine All Mine, was the lyrics of it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'm listening to the guitar and I'm listening to Van Halen just blow it out at you, and I really kind of picked up on the lyrics of Mine All Mine, and I was like, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the lyric writing on that.
Great thought on those lyrics, which is beautiful. I love the combination on this. And there are a lot of great choices and choice in lyrics he did. They weren't all perfect, but they all evoked an emotion, which I really appreciated what Sammy did with this album.
Yep.
And just that opener right there with, starting with the keyboards and then hearing Alex, like, thank God he's gone back to the acoustic drums, and then just like you could hear it through the whole album. The mix wasn't right, because the levels were off. And, but just to hear them do that with a keyboard, which was, I thought it was 10 times better than Why Can't This Be Love or Dreams or, and any of the keyboard, even well, definitely inside, but all of the keyboard tunes that he did previously, even on 1984, I have to say, Mine All Mine was one of his best efforts because it grabbed you by the nuts, and just like make you just want to, go lift 500 pounds over your head
Right.
with one hand.
Yeah. Yep.
But I love the spiritual lyrics on it though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, I've got some stuff loaded in from '88 that we can have a look at later. Yeah.
Well, we got
All
a
right.
big old ton.
Hang on,
Oh,
Keith. Hang on.
we never did show what everybody was going to be getting for.
You hadn't let me.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm half a second ahead of you. Sorry.
Been too busy chatting about OhYouAteOne2.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I've got some OhYouAteOne2 stuff in here from the Monsters and the Arena run. Yeah. We'll have a peek at that a little later on.
Hey, Ronald
So
Young.
you went and saw them, I bet, every year after 91 too, didn't you, Ryan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like I said, it was when you were describing, hungry for that next album, hungry for more Van Halen. I was always hungry for the next, tour when I would get to go see them in concert. So everything after that point, I saw them sometimes twice.
Yeah. Right on.
This is the first time I saw him twice in the same tour.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ronald Young, good to see you, sir. Right on.
Did we say hi to Guitar Man 45 as well? And
we did.
Well, we did say hi to John.
We'll say hi to him again. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right
and
on.
Patty too.
Nice to see everybody. We are later on, and later on is vastly approaching.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But we are gonna go down to a rather difficult, nearly impossible Van Halen trivia.
Oh yeah.
And it
nearly.
is nearly impossible tonight.
Nearly.
Very much so. But all right, so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to play for, I'm going to reach in here again because last week that was cool.
Yeah.
I have these poker chips. I'm going to grab one out.
Tell them what they're going to win.
Hang on, will you let me? Chill.
Sorry, I want game show host.
Christ. All right, so these poker chips, they all look like this on one side, and the other side there's a different Eddie guitar. So for tonight, that's it.
Yeah. The Wolfgang.
Yeah. Plus, we're going to throw in for you a rather cool 2022 NerdHalen
from the
Guitar
Monsters of Rock
Pick.
Cruise. Nice.
Sweet.
So you'll get that in the mail, and that's what we're playing for. A little later on. Gonna be, this is a hard one this week. I think it is.
Yeah.
So
Stumped me.
yeah. Yeah, Ryan here says that he didn't know it, and we showed him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Right, Keith?
That's right.
Stumped me.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so yeah. But we're let me show this stuff. There's some. So on that Monsters run, Keith,
Mm-hmm.
Alex had 8 bass drums.
Yeah, he did. I love the interview that he did on. I think it was the Monsters of Rock promo on MTV, where they interviewed all the band members from all the bands, and the the con the construct of it and the description. He was like, "Well, I had this, this, and this, that I want to use, so I decided, okay, what the hell? Let's just make it into one big donut." You know, and the one thing that I was totally blown away about was we knew 2 of the constructs that he was going to use, but that third one totally blew me away. And when Tony shows it, I'll explain why. It's
All
really
right.
freaking insane, though. Whew.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. A lot of these are little, Keith.
Okay.
They're
Apologies for
small.
that.
Let me see if we can see them.
Okay.
Let's try to bring it up here. All right. Excuse us a second here. Let's see. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
little.
that's tiny.
See what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like 125th scale.
Yeah. All right. No worries. Um, yeah. So Ryan, with you as a player,
Mm-hmm.
um, you've obviously attained the balance and beyond with the wet, dry, wet. Well, what is your personal favorite of his? What's your favorite of all the eras of his tone?
The live without a net tone is kind of what I chased, and it's very similar to his tone from there on out until obviously when Dave got back in the band, he went back to kind of an older tone. But that detune, that stereo, that wet dry wet, that's what I've always really liked. And OhYouAteOne2 album kind of really emphasizes that detune tone. You listen to Cabo Wabo and that detune with that harmonizer, that H3000 that he had. And that's just really anything from Live Without a Net on. And 1984 had some of it too, just not as much. So pretty much anything from there on out, is kind of my favorite tone. A lot of people like the early stuff and they, really jive on that. And I love it too. But the stereo or the wet, dry, wet stuff is really what gets me going.
Right.
There were
Right.
a lot of people who, were totally surprised at how much his tone evolved once he got with Sammy too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big transition. I mean, you saw it on the tour with the '84 tour because he was working with the Kramers. But then once things started to evolve with Sammy a lot drastically. His rack that he had. He didn't have all of that in the '84 tour, but he was starting to work with it in 5150, the Bradshaw rack.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pretty accurate replica of what Eddie had back then.
It's got a lot of the same stuff in it. What I'm running in that rack back there is the Lexicon PCM 70, which I'm pretty sure that he used. You guys can see that back there. It's kind of blurry, but the Lexicon is up top, and he used that as a stereo splitter, and it also is his cathedral delay is off of that. That's all that he used that for. And then obviously he had the Eventide H3000, which, you know, those are kind of aged and unreliable these days and very, very expensive. So I bought an Eventide Eclipse, which is kind of the newer version, kind of shrunk down of that. But the Roland SDE 3000 delays is what he used, and I've got two of those over there, one for left and one for right. And he also used, I believe, during those tours, it would have been a Rain SM26B, I think, mixer. So same mixer he was using, and that's kind of what I've got back there. It's a close facsimile of what he was doing, just not as as accurate as what he actually had, but it kind of gets the job done.
And then he was also using you said the H3000, correct?
H3000, yeah.
Yeah, and then he was using a Furman power conditioner on after everything there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just to keep everything regulated, if I recall. Wasn't there an H&H, the H&H also?
H&H power amp, H&H 800, I think, V800. And then, of course, in the stereo rig, he would have run a Palmer as well.
A Palmer power conditioner, yeah.
It was a load box that he would use for that. So he would drive his head, and then the Palmer would be a power soak, and he would take a signal from that and then run stereo out of that. So
he was one of the first ones to actually have an entire rig built for him by Bob Bradshaw. It actually made Bob Bradshaw just like get even more popular.
Yeah,
everybody wanted Bradshaw box set up after that.
Yeah. Yeah, this certainly has its sound, for sure.
Yeah, and it evolved so much over the years with, this 5150 and this tour. It just like became a mainstay for him for so long.
Yeah. Well, it's really and I think what he was going for was a nice full sound. And I think that's back in the early days. That's why he had guitar and then a guitar laden with reverb. They were looking for something to fatten up that guitar sound. And when he found the harmonizer, I think Live Without a Net was the 910s, and then he went to the 3000s in the later stuff. It was all just to make the guitar huge, since he was the only guitar player. And it was very successful at that.
It's a very touchy subject on there because of how everything is showing, though, on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Considering he had that during the 5150 tour as well, he was pretty much using everything at a certain point, but the mix on him was off the charts, but everything else, it was lacking in some spots, And I'll be the first one to say, where the fuck was the bass? Why did they mix it so low? I don't think it was even the mastering.
You've struck the nerve. You've struck the chord, man. I feel I feel the
I'll
fur. All right.
I'll pull a Band-Aid off.
All right. So hold that thought, Campbell. All right.
All right.
Hold that thought. Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Because guess what?
Is it time?
Already? Yeah.
It's time.
Is it that time already?
Yes, it's time. All right. Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia brought to you by the production of OhYouAteOne2. No, I'm kidding. But we will talk about that here in a few, so kids get ready. Yeah. All right. we got a very, I think, a very hard one for tonight. So we are playing for this cool poker chip and this cool NerdHalen Guitar Pick. Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you are the winner, there's a trivia winner's email down in the description. Email me your name and address. I'll mail you out that, plus some other goodies in the envelope too. I'm sure we'll give you an assortment of our custom picks. It's our pleasure to send along too, and yeah, get all kind of stuff in there.
Yeah. Get a couple of these. Probably get one of these, right?
Yeah.
You know, and
Never know.
you never know. You might get one of these as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get all kind of stuff. But yes, you'll find that, and you can get up with me, and I'll mail that out in the morning, bright and
Yeah.
early. Good
Mm-hmm.
gosh. All right, let's find the question. Kids, good luck. So, what we're gonna tonight, the question is gonna involve a photo. All right, so I'm gonna show you this picture, and don't worry, Keith's not gonna give you any hints. Keith's muted. All right, so I'm gonna show you a picture, Ryan. All right, let's keep Keith's mic muted. All right, there we are. I'm kidding, Keith. All right.
Let's see it.
So I'm gonna show you a picture. That's the picture. Famous picture. Okay. Mr. David Lee Roth and his security. So the question about this photo. All right, here we go. All right. So nearly impossible Van Halen trivia for tonight, May the 10th. Where was this photo taken? Where? Where? All right. All right. All right. So the answers are coming in. And Keith is still muted.
We got guesses here of Oompa Loompas? No.
He's just dying to unmute his mic and say, "Come on, kids." All right. Where was this photo taken? Where? Any idea?
Got a lot of guesses for cities here.
A lot of cities. Yeah.
A lot of great answers there.
Keep them coming, kids. Next to a van is a good point.
Technically correct, yeah. Not quite what you're looking for, though, is it?
Not the answer we're looking for. All right. Keith, if they don't get it and I have to tell them, they're going to kick themselves.
Dave's dad's garage.
Is that a van or a Bronco? I'm a car guy too. I
You
look
know,
at body styles all the time.
now that you say that, it does kind of look
Yeah.
like a Bronco, doesn't it?
And no, that
Great
wasn't a clue.
answers, guys. Great
Yeah.
answers.
No R2, R3, not Sheraton Hotel.
Yeah, not the Sheraton, Madison, Wisconsin, that's for sure. And the great guesses keep coming. Raleigh, that's a good guess.
I'm laughing at John DeShane. Juice's garage. No, it's not OJ's garage. I'll say that much.
Boston Strong. Yep. Come on, guys. You can do this. You're going to kick yourself if I have to tell you.
Well, it stumped me, and I think you may have stumped the chat.
And
It stumped me.
Dude, you want this poker chip. You do. Hear that? Even sounds like a poker chip.
Tony,
Yeah,
is
there
that
we
a PV Wolfgang or is that a EVH Wolfgang body style? Because they are slightly different. Mostly on the upper horn.
Okay, Keith, the great guesses are still coming in. I'm looking for something specific here, guys. Either you know or you don't know. It's a pretty famous photo, and a lot of you are, I'm sure, know exactly where to find this photo. Not that it's going to help you.
No, it won't.
But still, though, you know this photo. All right. We'll say, I'll say, I don't want to say. I'll say this. A couple of them are close. Excuse me.
But like you said earlier, we're looking for you want a little bit more specific?
Nope, don't give them nothing else more specific.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no mas.
That's
But
what
great
you're
answers,
looking for,
though.
That's what you're looking for, though.
I'm looking for cool answers like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
I love Spinal Tap.
I think you may have
That was
gotten
such
them.
a cool movie.
You guys are going to kick yourself. Man, that's a great shot of him holding the bottle up out of there. Like, nope, sorry. All right, so yeah, a couple of them were kind of close.
How much longer do you want to go, Tone?
I don't know. There's Jay Turner of the mighty Mean Streak before we leave tonight. Yes, sir.
There it is. My man, Jay Turner.
All right, kids. we're going to have to cut it off if you don't know, so give another stab at it. Where, you notice how where is like in all caps?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a hint, Keith?
That's probably the biggest hint you can get.
That is. Where could mean a lot of things,
Where?
Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Jay says that's not the usual picture he's ever seen. Was there another picture?
Well, I'll give him a hint. I'll give him a hint. You can find that picture in the book Crazy from the Heat.
As everybody runs to their bookshelf.
Ramble.
Hey, you're getting some more specific answers. You got Backstage Detroit.
Yeah, I also saw Silva put Cobo Hall Arena.
Man, I think the clock is slow.
Right.
I don't feel tardy.
Monique, Wizard of Oz.
All right, kids, we're gonna have to cut it off. Give one more stab at it. All right. That's why they call this nearly impossible van, because I
Give
win
30 seconds.
I win Ryan about 1 in 5.
See,
It
John,
keeps it real.
That's what I was thinking earlier when I saw it.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. That's why they call it nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. All right, I'm gonna type a mark in the chat. Game is over. All right. Okay, so let me show the answer. And a couple of you were very close. 3 of you were very close. But what I'm looking for is Madison Square Garden.
The 1982 tour.
So all you really had to do was to look from Dave's head and hands upward. All right.
Yep. Yeah. I saw Dan in New Jersey had it.
They had New York City, yeah.
They put New York City. They didn't put the Garden.
I think Gretsch Zeppelin,
Patty
had it, Deal.
Patty, yeah.
Yeah.
3 of
Good
them.
answers, guys. Great game. I was counting on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Silva was close naming Joe Louis or Cobo Hall.
I'll put this back in the
vault.
Yeah.
Back in the old.
Wow.
So. Yeah. And we'll put this in the junk drawer, the little thingy I got last week.
Ooh.
Yeah, my little closet, my little
look
junk
at that
drawer.
Yeah. Did you see this, Ryan?
I saw that.
That's looking badass.
Yeah. So we'll play again next Wednesday. Yeah. All right. So back to where we left off, and get ready because I mean there's no other way. The button's been
pushed already.
There's no other way to say it. The production, and we didn't know it at the time because we love those songs, but the production isn't great. You know.
No.
Yeah.
And there's something on there that says why, though. because there were only
But
5 people involved.
well, but first things first, to the ear, you don't hear any bottom end. Very little.
None. You had a ton more in 1984, and you didn't have half as much in 5150 as well. The bass was quite muted on
Right,
there as well.
but not to talk about those though. But looking back at OU812, there you wanna
Yeah.
listen, those songs, you love those songs, you've been listening to songs for 30 years. You imagine if the production for OU812 matched, let's say, Carnal.
Absolutely.
And imagine how songs would sound like Sucker in a Three-Piece is the first one comes to my mind. That would cook, Not that it doesn't already.
Yeah, having only 5 people involved on that album, if they had a record producer who had the experience, they saw what these tunes were worth, and they would have sounded ballsy. It's just a shame that Andy Johns didn't jump in early. I mean, the first album they had Mick Jones overseeing, but this album it was just the 5 of them. They wanted to do it all on their own, and they were given carte blanche by Warner Brothers to do that too, because of the success of 5150.
Ryan, I told Keith this, that it just seemed like during that time frame, 1987, 88, they got a new singer, things are going great. That was a time where Van Halen, I felt, plus the whole 80s rock scene, everything was in transition. Everything was with the band, the sound, Eddie, Sammy, what he's in, I looked at it, you look at a song like Cabo Wabo, there was a lot of different ideas. Finish what you started, I mean, there was a lot of flavors there. It seemed like that they wanted to do a lot of different and couldn't decide of exactly what. Yeah.
Do you think that some of it was, Eddie has his studio. He's like, well, we got the studio, we got everything we need. Let's see what we can do.
Experimental,
on
right,
our
Keith?
own. Let's see what we can
Exactly.
do. So,
and Eddie had a huge arsenal of guitars by then, and now he had his lab, his own personal sanctum, to where he could spend as much time as he wanted to do it. He was so busy during the '84 tour and everything with the strife with Dave, and then the 5150, it was rushed out because of Warner Brothers. I can understand that. Once they had signed the contracts with Sammy, and they heard the demos, they were just like, let's get it going now. Boom, pop it out. But they also knew at the same time what was going on with Dave. So they were winning both ends of the coin for Warner Brothers. And once they got the green light from Warner Brothers to produce it themselves, there wasn't the smartest move on Warner Brothers' part at all. They should have had somebody overseeing, and that's my own personal opinion. What do you think, Tony?
I think you're right, man. I mean, it was experimental. They had Don in there, but it was all, everything was new. Studio, Eddie's after this sound, and everything was, and they wanted to do it themselves. Of course, who didn't? Who wouldn't? So they thought they were doing the right thing, I guess. Ryan?
I love it for what it is. The guitars sound great.
They do, though.
You know.
They
They
do.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I loved so much about this album. The textures that he pulled out. You know, he started playing. You know, he was doing a Tesco do Ray for Finish What You Started, and then he was playing an airline for Apolitical Blues. He was doing 12 strings. You know, he was loading his arsenal up there, but he was coming out with. He was still defining his 5150 tone as well. You know, he was still in the middle of perfecting that, and this is probably his pinnacle right there because he only used it a few more times after 1991.
Yeah, like I said, I think everything kind of switched back. You know, even when Sharon, and then obviously when Dave came back in, the whole tone switched again. But OhYouAteOne2 album has always had, and I still can't figure out exactly what it is. There is something a little bit different to his guitar tone that I can't figure out what it is that he's doing. If you listen to it, it's almost like a little bit of a reverb kind of effect that you hear on it, but I haven't pinpointed exactly what it is to get. Guitar players in the chat will probably understand what I'm talking about. It's just something just a little bit different. It's the same tone, but something's just a little different. I don't know what he did, but I haven't figured out exactly what it is yet.
Yeah.
I think it's just the evolution of what he had on his rack compared to what he had in 1986 on the road. You know, 87, he was still working with new stuff too. You know, so that changed everything. You know, I think tonally as well. You know, because he was able to make the definitive changes that he needed to with the newer equipment. Because these were like second and third generation by then. He was still working with prototypes as well with Bradshaw. So
yeah, it all sounded good.
Yeah, it was a beautiful evolution, and it's part of his process. He was always tinkering. That's what I loved about him. You know, he wasn't satisfied with one tone. He liked them all.
Yeah.
So Keith, when they put that album out, the following month they started. Well, I guess later on in May they started the Monsters of Rock tour in East Troy, Wisconsin, that run. I think we all saw it. I saw it in RFK in Washington. And then after the Monsters run with Doc and Metallica, Kingdom Come, Scorpions, they went out and toured the arenas in the States. And that was a good show too. That was, and so they did a couple of songs that weren't the same from the set list of the Monsters run. Is that right, Keith?
That's correct. I had seen him at Giant Stadium, so that was June 25th, and they were supposed to do the 26th as well, but it didn't sell out completely, so they just sold out just the one show, which was the Sunday show, and it was off the rails. I mean, my sister and I got there nice and early, and I sent Tony pictures of that a bunch of months back. But Kerry and I, we had the ultimate night and the ultimate day during that whole show. I was up the night before drawing up this big ass freaking Godzilla banner.
Yeah,
of
I
him
don't
in
have
Giant
that
Stadium.
loaded.
Yeah,
But
that's all good.
But dude, you never answered my
It was-
question.
So what's the question? It was the most
It's about the set list. I asked
set
you
list.
there was some
The set
on
list
the
was always about it was close to everything on 5150 sound wise. They opened up though with all fired up.
Right, but my question is the set list for the Monsters run was
hmm
different than the set list for the Arena run.
The arena run had a couple of different ones. It had Cabo Wabo in it, and Eddie had just bought the Fender from, I believe it was Dan Armstrong. It had a Telecaster neck on it, and he carved the 5150 in it. He was using that at the garden show for Finish What You Started. And he was also playing Cabo Wabo as well, you know, which was such a great addition, you know, because it was picking up in the local airwaves, you know, not on MTV because they didn't do a video, but Cabo Wabo was getting a lot of airplay on even in New York City, you know, all the radio stations in the area. So it was a lot of love for it.
There were other songs too that they were doing on the Arena run. Running with the Devil.
Exactly. Yeah, they were bouncing back between "You Really Got Me" and "Running with the Devil." They were also they were still playing "Jump." They were also I think they did "I'll Wait" a handful of times. I'm not sure. But they would always do Panama. They would always do Panama and Ain't Talk About Love. That was always going to be a constant there. But the Giant Stadium show, they even did Superstition. You know, they did that as an encore with rock and roll on the end. You know, and my sister and I were right there in front. She was on my shoulders during that shit, and she was just like reaching for picks that were flying past her. You know, because we were just like in front, and Eddie was flinging them hard and fast.
You gotta watch out for those flying picks.
Yeah, I know. It's great, but it was so much fun, and it was one of my favorite concerts, hands down.
Yeah, the
whole
Monsters.
day.
If you were lucky to see the Monsters run, and we planned that because they announced that tour, and being in North Carolina, DC was the nearest, so that was the plan. But we got to see them also in the fall when they came through North Carolina on the Arena run, and that was also good. Yeah, that was nice to go
Yeah,
back a couple of months later. Yeah,
that was the first tour that I got to see multiple times because they toured New York for the Giant Stadium show, which I saw, then the Garden show, okay, and they also did Uniondale, Long Island show at Nassau Coliseum the following night. And then I think right after that is when he did the Les Paul and Friends show at the Brooklyn Academy of Arts. That was, you know, a lot of people to see on Cinemax. So there was a lot of great music, and he was just like blowing everybody away that week. It was insane.
yeah. But my point is that Arena, everybody talks about the Monsters run in '88, but the yeah, they they did a handful of dates all across from August, September, October, into November. Um, yeah, and then they took the month off and they did all of January in Japan.
Yep. 13 dates, right?
I don't know.
I think it was 13 dates.
You would know. That's something I would ask you.
Yeah.
But a bunch of dates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that show that they did the video
a bunch of them.
that live concert they did at was that in Tokyo Dome, the '89 show?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
YouTube show. Yeah.
that's a really great show to watch. Oh, that's a great concert. Yeah.
Looks like they did 9 in Japan. 1, 2,
9. Okay.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but if you haven't checked it out, go check out that Tokyo Dome show.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you something else to check out, bro. I pulled
What do you
these
got?
things out. I got some passes, and they're
Nice.
all in a
Ooh.
knot.
Oh yeah, look at that staff.
Very sweet.
Anyway, I'll show you the passes. I can't say I'm gonna get them untangled.
There you go. What show was that from?
I don't know. One
Okay.
of them.
What does that say? 713?
713.
7/13. Yeah. So, what were the
All
dates
right.
on that?
Hey,
That would have
I got
been
one broke free.
Minneapolis.
Mini. Okay. Oh, nice. Very nice. Flip that on over. Oh, baby, you know what I like.
This one belonged to somebody named John Barbas.
Uh-huh.
Worked for them. Let's see what else there is here.
Cool.
One of them.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Very cool.
And one of them.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice performer.
Yep.
Hmm.
I always like that shot because, because of the classic reason, like the Meet the Beatles album.
One of
That's why they did it.
those.
Oh, yeah. The chimp. Darwin's Evolution.
And what else? That's all. Da-ba-da-ba-da. That's all, folks.
Yeah.
No, but
Liking your
those.
shirt choice tonight, too, T.
The OU812.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple of OU812.
Is that from the
shirts.
Monsters tour or the '88 tour afterwards?
This is from the arena run.
The arena run.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're the same except for a minor. One OU812 is in white and one's in red, and the dates are different on the back.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Let me show you a couple of OU812. I got an unboxing too.
Oh yeah. Toy time with tea cake.
Always fun to have a good unboxing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I can't wait for yours, man. Tomorrow.
Hang on.
For Patty.
I'm gonna show you some coolness.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Very nice.
All right.
Bad freaking ass.
Yeah, how you like that? Pulled that
My
out. All right.
Whose idea was that album cover?
I wonder who. Let
That's
me get out of here.
I know that.
Trivia
We
question
had-
from the past, right?
Yeah, that is a trivia question from the past. We
I
actually
think
had that as a trivia
that's the
question.
one that you won, right? Is that right?
Nope, I got that one wrong.
You got that one wrong.
Yeah.
I forget who won that.
Yeah, if you're in the chat, tell me who won that.
Yeah, I can't recall. But so let me where have I got that at? Oh, it's over there. Let me show you something real quick. So, let me share this over here. All right. Let me get out of here with those little. So, you've seen this picture before?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've
Yes,
ever
I
seen
do.
that one.
I know exactly where it's from. I was at that show.
Oh, you were at that show.
That's a Giant Stadium show. That's when the Today Show came and did the live video, and they showed it the next day on Monday morning.
So you see that shirt that Alex has on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that. Okay, so have you seen this picture before?
I have not.
Have you, Keith?
I Have not seen the picture before, but I'm taking a good guess
All
at
right,
which show
so
this is. I have a
all
good
right,
idea
let
which
me
show it
get
is.
back over here like that. So that shirt that you saw Alex wearing, there it is.
There you go. Yep. Is that the actual shirt?
No,
It's got the Alex DNA sweat on there.
yeah, no, it's got a couple. So that other one that you saw with Sammy with
Oh, very nice.
that on the front, and this is a tank, but on the back it's got that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very nice.
yeah.
That reminds me of a friend of mine went to a chicken foot show, and she was sharing pictures on Facebook, and one of the pictures was of Sammy, and he's wearing an OU812 shirt.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he did that in one show.
So Keith and me talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I put this over here. I've had this thing forever, and
Oh
if
yeah.
I can, I got it. All right, it's heavy, but so yeah, I know they made these monkeys, and they had OU812 on the front, and they gave
Mm-hmm.
them out. But I've had this thing over there for forever and ever and ever, and it never dawned on me that, you know, the Darwin monkey, OU812, and
Yep.
all these, yeah, I mean, all this OU812 stuff, but yeah, I got a Darwin
Mm-hmm.
monkey,
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah. If I recall, those were given out to radio stations as like incentives for playing the album or whatever, or as a giveaway.
Yeah, yeah, but that'll go back over there. It's heavier than I don't
Yeah.
know what. Yeah,
Yeah. Those things are
and
usually
dusty.
bronze cast, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is quite heavy. So I do have a unboxing, and this is from Ed Dubril.
What's in the box?
Bless you,
What's
Ed.
in the box?
Ed told me that he may or may not be here tonight. There's the Deputy Van Halen.
Nice.
Good to see you. Welcome. All right. Let's open up this thing.
What's in the box?
I'm going to just rip it open. Ed, I appreciate it.
Technically an unbagging, right?
It is. Oh my God, he did, man. He did it, bro. Right on. So it is a hat. Let me put that. I'm gonna take it out of the. All right. So I live in Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, and Ed got me a Durham Bulls hat,
look
a
at that.
blue
That is
one.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've got a Durham Bulls hat, but it's the brown one.
Mm-hmm.
It's that color.
Yeah,
And
that is badass.
yeah, but
cool.
I don't have a blue one. I do now. Thank you, Ed.
Yeah.
You rock,
That's
bro.
freaking cool.
Right on.
That is freaking cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
But for those of you that don't know, Tony's dad was a famous pitcher for the Bulls, you know, and he's a record setter. and he's a part of that legacy. So, you know, Tony has such a cool history to
Very cool.
live with that, and it's like, oh yeah. And any of you who haven't seen it yet, he did like an 8-minute video walking through all of his baseball memorabilia. Freaking awesome job, bro.
Yeah, thank you, Key.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out, everybody. It's really cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith. You were too kind, dude. But yeah, Ed, I love my Durham Bulls cap, buddy. Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man.
You got some under the bus coming in.
There,
Roll over some
yeah,
folks.
right
Oh,
on.
look at
Welcome,
that.
guys. There they are.
Nice. All
They
right,
must
boys.
be going off
going on,
there.
Jay?
Welcome. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah. What's going on,
What?
boys?
Yeah, right on.
Hope the show went well, man. Nobody
Yeah,
died,
cool.
I hope.
Yeah.
And
We
did
get to
Jay
watch
return
on
anything
replay.
tonight?
Is what?
Is Jay returning anything tonight?
Oh, Keith.
I had to.
Oh, he's saying that we are live on his channel right now. They are
Right
live.
on.
Nice. Very nice.
What's up, guys?
Spreading the Van Halen love.
Yeah,
Sweet.
right on. Nice to see you fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man.
having us on, man.
Okay, you're still on. Right on. Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah,
Crossover night. We got the
We-
trifecta going.
we get to watch each other on replay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's how it goes, though. People are on at the same time, and that's
Yeah.
that. You can't win them all, you know. I wish I could watch those guys live. You
Yeah.
know.
It's a
Yeah.
fun time, I'll tell you that.
I know.
Yeah.
I
And
see it on the
if you guys are watching
replays.
here live, always catch a replay. Yep.
It's very
Yeah.
difficult to watch both shows at the same time, but I managed to do it.
Yeah, well, I like when they do late night stuff on the weekend. I get to catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right on. Okay,
Yeah.
so before I forget and before we get too far along, keep in mind that coming up in a couple of weeks here on Saturday, May 20th, we are going to be live Saturday night, May 20th. We're going on the road. We're going to be road tripping with Jay Turner and Mean Street live in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Sweet.
probably going to go live about 7:30 Eastern. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that start time out there for sure as we grow nearer. That's still a week and change out. That's in 2 weeks on Show Me Your Pick right there. This Saturday night, though, we're going to be talking about Bo Diddley on Show Me Your Pick.
Oh, yeah.
That's Saturday night, May 13th, coming up. Yeah. All right, but while you're all here, let me show you this and let me speak a minute about this. So anybody who's ever won on my channel, and that includes both this Halenville Live Wednesdays and Show Me Your Pick Saturdays, if you've ever won, you will be eligible to win. We'll have it this summer. Look for June or July. There'll be 3 games, 3 winners, 3 guitar picks, those picks that you see right there. And one of them is from the OhYouAteOne2 tour, Eddie's pick. Yeah. It'll be on a regular night of our broadcast. But it'll be a lot of fun, and there'll be some cool prizes other than those guitar picks to the winners. Thank you to everybody who's won in the past. Ryan, thank you. You've won before.
Yeah, once or twice, I think.
Right on.
Yeah, you have.
I love it.
You got a
Yeah,
few
man.
collection in there.
Yeah. Yeah, some good
Yes.
stuff. I've showed it
Yeah.
off on my show. Let's see. I
Yep.
got some of it sitting right here. Let's see. Got the balance support
Oh, cool.
sticker.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Got all those picks I was showing off earlier.
Yeah.
And the
Eddie actually had a matching guitar for that yin yang.
Yep, I used to have one that I did from an old OLP body.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
I put a real Godot on it and all that. I sold it like an idiot. So
I think Eddie gave that one to Matt Bruck.
I think it was Matt Brooks, yeah, and he would just borrow it from time to time.
Yeah, when he was doing his Zen Boy thing. Yeah.
91. I saw him play it on stage
Yep.
for Judgment Day.
Nice.
That was the first time I'd seen that guitar, was in person. And I'm literally, right at the stage, so I'm 15, 20 feet away from him.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
That must have been a badass thing. God.
It was awesome.
He was in full force that tour. God.
I think my ears are still ringing from that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan, let me ask you something. It appears that you got a pile of guitars, man.
Got a couple of them. I think at last count it was maybe 20.
Okay, right on.
So,
damn.
You got some gorgeous ones too.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fair warning.
That's a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah, man.
That was one that back in 2006, 2007, it was getting real big for people to do the Frankie copies. And I wanted to do something, but I wanted to do something unique and original. And I had never seen anybody do a fair warning, because fair warning does have a special spot for me. Specifically, just the raw power and energy that you feel from fair warning. Mean Street, that was one of those that I would just listen to that, and man, it would just get me so pumped up, and just kind of a special spot with that album. So I wanted to do something a little different and unique that people hadn't seen before. Now, since then, I've seen a lot of people have the guitar with the fair warning graphic on it, but that's one of my favorites.
That's
one of my favorites
gorgeous.
for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Yes,
I've
thank
never
you,
seen
Monique.
that until you posted it. I'm like, wow.
Let me grab it real quick. if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
do, Ryan.
Oh,
Yeah, so
put this
Alex
on.
had a birthday this week.
yeah, he did.
Is that
The
right?
big 7-0. 70. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
And,
gone to get that. Okay.
And then also, Wolfgang put out a new single.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did a lyric video to that as well. Released that on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of Feel 2.0.
Yeah.
What are your opinions of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd listen to it twice.
Yeah. It is catchy. It does get you.
Yeah. But yeah, can't wait. That new record, Mammoth 2, August 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to open the mailbox and see that one.
Yeah. And he's probably going to premiere the song, since he released it. Oh, look at that beauty. Look at that.
Ooh, that's gorgeous, man.
Oh my God, and little fishes. That is so freaking badass.
Yeah, I was so stoked when I saw this completed. I, obviously this is not the same as the album. It's got pieces of it just kind of organized in different areas. And the horns here, let's see. See the guy rolling through the little squisher there?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you've got the one kid grabbing the arm on the skeleton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is a rare one.
This was kind of the focal area that I wanted. I wanted the dude punching the dude in the face, kind of front and center, because that's kind of the feel of that whole album. I thought was just these mean streets.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that hadn't checked that out.
Yep.
That's nice,
Then,
man.
Yeah.
then down by the trem bar, 1 foot out the door.
1 foot out the door. There you go.
Yeah.
And just a little plug. This was done by my buddy Jeff Rich.
Beautiful job, Jeff. Absolutely beautiful. I was in love with this thing the minute you showed it off. Like
So
unbelievable.
how a guitar as gorgeous as that, how many times, how many weeks went by where you could just pick it up and just simply play it and not sit there and go, holy shit?
Well, I used to play this guitar live, and it always got a really, really good reaction. But as far as every time I come down here, that's the reason that it sits right there, is because it's the first one I see when I come down. I just love looking at this thing.
It's freaking eye candy, man.
Yeah.
I know
It's so fucking
it is.
beautiful
Yeah.
job, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful job, Jeff.
Yeah, he
Wow.
knocked it out of the park. But
Yeah.
I played this thing so much that I wore the frets out. So I recently had some stainless steel frets put on this one.
Good.
And this
Nice.
thing, a lot of people play this and there's like, man, that's my favorite one of yours. But
Is there
Yeah.
anything on the back end?
there is not. It's just
Okay.
black on the back. Yep. I think the front kind of just said it all. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
your
you don't want to destroy
Steinberger
that.
too.
the Steinberger, yeah, I can
Right,
grab that if
yeah.
you like.
What do
Yeah, oh
you
yeah, you got to show that off.
what do you lean more toward? The Kramers or the EVHs?
I like them all. They all feel a little bit different. They all sound a little bit different. But overall, if I had to only have one guitar, if somebody said your one, it would be that Steinberger. That thing is phenomenal. So if you don't mind, I'll grab it and show it
Yeah,
off a little
dude.
bit.
Absolutely.
I was, while he's doing that, I was always really surprised at the fact that they never used the Steinberger on this album. You think he would like grow it and expand it, but no, he was gone on to the next level after that. And what was he used it in the Carnal Knowledge album, right?
Didn't he have one now on it? Maybe it's on his too. Let's see after he gets on.
All right, now I can
Yeah.
hear you.
All right. So, talk to us about the entire layout of this guitar.
Okay. This is an exact replica, minus a slight difference in the trim. But this is an exact replica of the guitar that Eddie played on Live Without a Net. It's a Steinberger GL2T, headless guitar. He had a mod on the first fret here, where this is a 0 fret. So this kind of acts as your nut. He modded these where it had a little slit so that the string would hold instead of sliding on that fret. So that's been done, and this is set up exactly the way that he had his. It's a different version of the tremolo or the trans trim. This is a version 2. His was a version 1 that was converted to a version 2 style. But
Some people call that the 1.5.
the 1.5, yeah.
Yeah, the 1.5 version.
Yeah, the 1.5 version. Yep, exactly. But it's EMG active pickups, 81s in both position. And the trans trim, if people don't know, it transposes all the strings through the different steps. So Summer Nights, Get Up, Me Wise Magic, Fire in the Hole, he did that with this tremolo here. And a lot of people try to recreate those songs without this, and it just doesn't sound the same. So this is my pride and joy here. So this is all kind of I don't know exactly what it's made of. It's a composite type material.
Graphite,
fiberglass.
if I remember, also.
Yeah, possibly some graphite.
Yeah.
But the neck and the body is all one piece, and it's pretty well hollow in there. And you have the faceplate that's removable and comes off. So I have this one set up where I can quickly remove the faceplate and put the original back on if I want to. But just the feel, the tone, the capabilities of this thing. This is never leaving.
Right on.
Yeah. The original case on it, what color is it?
I don't have the original case, but I think the original cases were black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a OhYouAteOne2
It was a 12-string.
version of that?
Yes.
It was a 12-string. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what he used for Cabo Wabo.
I believe you are correct on that.
Yep. Yep. That is a very rare and very expensive guitar if you can find one. The 12-string version of this. Yep.
And they're not cheap to replicate either.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
No, just because of the trans trim on that.
And it looks exactly the same as that,
Yeah.
except for the decal on it is
Mhm.
OhYouAteOne2.
Says OhYouAteOne2. Yep.
Yeah, it's not any bigger or any,
Yeah, the plate is identically painted. All of
Right.
it. The only difference is the nomenclature.
Right. So it's, yeah. I've seen that one, and that's nice. But
Yeah.
how long you had that thing, Ron?
I've had this for a couple of years now. I had ever since I saw Live Without a Net and saw that thing, I was like, I have got to get one of those. But they're rare and hard to find, and you guys probably know Rob Johnson. I saw that he had one on his YouTube channel.
Say it right, Rob Johnson.
And I was like, yeah, this guy's got one. I got to get one. So I eventually found one. Had the front all painted up, and yeah, I love this guitar. And this is the guitar mostly that I use for what I do on Trans Trim Thursdays. So
That's his workhorse.
yeah,
Right on.
yep.
I've almost made a move on a headless guitar once or twice, but never did.
Everybody's calling for some summer nights in the chat.
There you go.
Right on.
Can I give you a chord or two of it?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the
Yeah.
ever popular drop down.
Oh yeah. Tweak. There goes the arm hair,
I
bro.
don't want you getting any copyright strikes, but that's what I do on Thursdays.
Right on. Yeah. They are nice though, but the it's so compact though, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people talk about it being a little more difficult to play. I find that when I have it strapped, with strap on and hanging, I don't know, you just get used to it like any other guitar. A little different feel. But
So do us a favor and explain what the change on the locking of the trem bar, though, how that works, and tell us, for those of us who have never played one, what's it like to get that timing down for those songs?
a lot of that is it just comes down to muscle memory. Just like when you're using your pick to find a different string, that you have that muscle memory of where it is. So I'm finding the same thing with the trim, is that you have to get the muscle memory of going back to where you need to be for that different key. And some of it's easy because you start off in a lock position and then you bring it back down to a standard position, so it's easy to get there. But in Summer Nights, when he does the solo, he drops it 2 steps, and that's the tough one. That's a tough one to get. You got to find that just right. But yeah, kind of explain it. And I've got on my channel, I've got a video where I have another guitar with a trans trim that I completely took apart. And so if anybody's interested in seeing that, just check my channel. And I take one of these completely apart and replace the little bearings that are in here. And I was on a quest to discover how this thing worked as well. But right in here, this is actually a whole jaw piece that comes up. You see where the string holds it there. That piece is about, I don't know, about that long. And it's hard to get it to focus here. There we go. But where the ball end goes, there is a pivot point on those jaws, and the string is at a certain height. So all those jaws are a different orientation. Well, the first three are the same, and then the last three, those are all different. And it holds the string at a different height and a different break angle. So when you move the bar, you see this little locking mechanism right here. It clips into this little tower piece there. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So that middle notch that you see right there, that's standard playing position. So you've got different notches that you can lock this thing into. So if I were to come up to there, I'm in the tuning for Fire in the Hole or Me Wise Magic. And then, of course, he drops back down to some standard stuff. Summer Night's intro is locked all the way up. And then you get that, that... and then he drops back down. But what's happening is each string is bending on that break angle at a different rate, so that each string stays in tune when you change that. It's just just completely genius engineering on this thing. And I thought it was way more complicated than it is. The most complicated part of it, I think, was the designing of it to to figure out the mathematics of how to make it work. But
is the maintenance on it easy though?
Maintenance on it is super simple.
Wow.
There's really no maintenance. Just keep it clean. Maybe a little bit of light lubrication. But no, other than that, it's super, super easy.
It's so funny because growing up, my sister lived in Newburgh, New York, actually a block and a half away from Ned's shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew about it, and I went in there once. He wasn't there, but I was just like, wow, it's such a tiny shop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and that was back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, when everybody was just finding out about this. And I went up there, and I was just like blown away. And then after that, the place just got bigger. And now you can still find them. They're called Headless America, right?
Mm-hmm. Headless USA. Yeah.
Headless USA. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I found this one. I talked to Don before he passed away, and was able to get this one.
Yeah. He passed away last September, if I recall. Right?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Really good guy. He was so full of information. Big loss to the guitar community.
Yeah. I mean, that hit me hard when I heard about that. I'm like, oh God, because I got to talk with him when I was up there. Last time I was home, I stopped up there real quick. I'm like, holy crap. And that was, God, 8 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was up there just, he was a plethora of information, just like you said.
Yeah.
So much information that was lost because of a bad disease,
Yeah.
Freaking cancer. Ugh. But Heaven's got another great one up there because he was such a great soul.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would, when we were talking about getting this one, we would talk quite a bit over emails just about other stuff, Just a really, really cool guy. A lot of cool stories.
When you stepped away earlier, Tony and I were saying it was surprising that there's no trans trem on this album.
Yeah, no, there's not.
Yeah, but he was expanding his flavors and using different textures and music and stuff. So, I could understand where he was going because they had the full creative control at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Based off of the success of 5150.
Did you say what your favorite track was off of OhYouAteOne2?
I think mine would probably be no, not Source of Infection. It would probably be Naturally Wired, All Fired Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, AFU. Because it just, the whole band, it's just like, it was full. The lyrics were there, the drums were there, the guitar was, of course, there. And you even got to hear a little bit of Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear that beat. I just wish it was a little bit more,
Yeah,
get that little
more,
that Andy Johns kick to it.
Yeah. What about you, Tony? Which was your favorite?
Oh, I told you earlier, AFU all day.
Yeah.
Should be the opening track on the record. Should have been, it would have been huge. I believe that if AFU was the first song on that album, it would have been in the set for many more tours because it would have, I think it'd have been bigger of a song, but yeah.
Yeah, it did make a comeback in the 95 tour, which was with that Jumbotron. It was killer, with that surfing scene.
Yeah, there was a couple of weird things about it, but the order of the songs, we didn't think about it at the time, but I mean, I'll be the first to admit that many, many, many times listening to OhYouAteOne2 as a young guy, straight to the third song. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that the first two were anything wrong with them.
Now, do you find that still today? If you pop it in, you skipping over and you're going straight to Black and Blue?
No, I listen.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times CDs are my thing. So even if it's a couple of songs along the way, I like them anyway. But in the car, me as a young guy, yeah.
Straight to the Black and Blue.
Voom. That's right. No, the AFU,
I would still play it all because, When It's Love, it was sounded more like Clapton than I could imagine Eddie ever playing, because he was using those certain pickups and then he was playing it through the Soldano, which Clapton was using at the same time too. The SLO 100s, I believe, right?
SLO 100, yep.
Yeah. And Eddie had a blue ostrich one and a pink ostrich one. And
yeah,
much of that was used on the Carnal album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike Soldano tells the story of him getting a phone call and he's about ready to close up. He's got, I think it's him and his wife's anniversary, and he's going to be taking her out. Mm-hmm. And it's like he's almost ready to close, and he's like, "Can I come down and check out this amp?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going to be leaving in 15 minutes." And he's like, "I'll be there in 10. Comes rushing in with the sports car. And yeah, pretty cool story.
The Lamborghini run.
Yeah.
Steve Rosen had quite a few of those stories. But
Yeah.
I could actually picture. I read that story and I was just like, that sounds exactly like what Rosen would tell. Yeah, beautiful story.
All right, kids, we're going to wind down.
All right.
This has been super fun.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What time is it getting? We're right at 2:05 tonight. Ryan, this has been so much fun meeting you, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed meeting you guys tonight.
Yeah, this
You know.
has been fantastic. We could go on and on and on, but when we do these, we do realize that it is a weeknight. But we could go on and on, And
That
we
sounds like
have,
a prompting for part 2.
it does, exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So everybody, Ryan and R2 and Trev, they do 2 shows a week, Thursdays and Sundays, and you can catch them live. Go over there and subscribe. His links are down below.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
find them there. So go click and subscribe there and meet me and Keith over in their chat tomorrow.
Yep.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, Transform
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yeah.
What
And you have
time
a
is
special
that
unboxing.
show?
It will be 8:00 p.m. Eastern.
Right on.
So,
8
And you have a
p.m.
special unboxing.
I have a very special unboxing. A shout out to Patty in the chat. She
right.
sent me a box, and this box is huge. I don't know what's in it. So we'll all find out tomorrow what it is. But special thanks to Patty and Ronald and Donald Young as well.
Right on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a huge box of chocolate or something.
It could be. Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown M&Ms.
Yeah.
Place your bets now, boys and girls.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
So I'm excited to see what's in there.
Right on. I am too. Yep. I'll be there. Absolutely.
Very
And I
cool.
hope you guys will also go support OhYouAteOne2 on YouTube. Subscribe there. Give a like. Meet us over in their live streams. It's a lot of fun.
Appreciate that, Tony.
It is.
Yeah, I gave
Yeah.
everybody just a little taste tonight. So if you like what you heard, come on see me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right on Thursday. Sweet.
OhYouAteOne2, welcome to Halenville.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
was-
Always welcome.
Fun first trip.
Yeah.
Keith, you got anything else?
No. Just want to say thank you all for a stress-free night. I've had a stressful day, and I just want to say thank you for a couple of hours of letting me forget about it and talk about my favorite subject in the world. And I get to do it all with all of you. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I totally agree, but yeah, right on. Well said. Yeah. Well, Keith, good luck in the move. I know
Thank
it's
you.
going to be stressful for a couple of
Yeah.
days, but
It's getting there.
it'll-
It's not DEFCON 5, but
it'll move
know.
fast and you'll forget
Oh, yeah.
all about it. And
Mhm.
yeah,
busy,
It'll be done.
busy.
yeah. So
Yeah,
everybody, leave a thumbs up there on the video. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you for that. It's great to see everybody on Wednesday. We talk Van Halen every Wednesday around here. We certainly do. We'll be here next Wednesday talking Van Halen on Wednesday, but we come back. We come back on Saturday and we show you a lot of guitar picks on Show Me Your Picks. So join us this Saturday, 9 p.m. Bo Diddley, who we're talking
Nice.
about. You'll see a lot of picks, a lot of stuff, a lot of fun. And we can stay up and go long if we want. That's right.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
Well, Bo
Ryan,
Diddley's got a long history, so yeah.
that's right. Ryan, thank you again, my friend.
Thank you for having
This
me.
has been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yes,
really
sir.
enjoyed it.
All right. Guys and girls, we're going to scamper out of town here. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Keith loves you. Ryan loves you.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys tomorrow at the OhYouAteOne2 YouTube channel for their live stream, 8 p.m. See you over there. Thank you, everyone.